Welcome to Customize with Lettering with Kay Hickman.
We all love to sew, we love to embroider, and we love to create. I would say that a big part of the reason why is that we can create very unique, one-of-a-kind items, whether those items are for ourselves or maybe they're for gift giving. From very simple things you can do, lettering is a way to personalize many projects, whether it be a very simple thing or whether it be something more complex that requires the use of software. I remember very well bringing home my very first embroidery machine, and within just a few days I had monogrammed every towel, washcloth, kitchen towel, and napkin that I had in my whole house. Because it's so much fun to just add a name. So let's look at how very easily we can add a name using the embroidery's built-in machine features. I'm working today on the 580 machine. All the embroidery machines will be able to add lettering. We'll just need to consult with your individual manual for your machine to get to the specifics for that. I'm going to add lettering by using the alphabet icon. And then this opens up and it shows me that in this particular model of machine I have 7 fonts. Your machine may have more, may have less fonts. I'm going to select font number 3, which is the Swiss block. And now it's just a matter of touching the keyboard to find the letters that I want. I'm going to type in Grandma K. It defaults to the uppercase, so I want to type the G there. Now the rest of the word I want in lowercase, so I will select the lowercase icon, and then I will just type or touch the letters for the rest of the word. So I'm going to type G-R-A-N-D-M-A. If you happen to make a mistake, here I have 2 M's, what we'll do is just erase the back letter and then I can type the correct letter. I would like a second word, so just as in typing, I'll touch the space bar. Now I can go back to uppercase, type in my first initial, the K, go to lowercase, and then type in the rest of my name. If I'm unhappy with the way it is now, I could touch the bar at the top and it would erase Grandma K and I could write a new one. If you touch the X, it'll take you back to where you can choose a different font. If you are happy with where it is, then we're going to select the green check mark and that will confirm. I always like to, at this point, select the hoop that I'm going to use because it's going to give me a perspective on the size and it'll give me a little bit easier way to resize it visually. Because these designs come in pretty large, the lettering. So with the lettering selected, I'm going to touch the information icon or the edit feature. And on this machine, I can only resize proportionately, which means when I touch the button, and I'm going to use the width multifunction knob because it says so. It has a little zigzag symbol. And when I touch the minus, or when I go to the left, it's going to be making that lettering smaller. If I were to turn it to the right, it would be making the lettering bigger. So when I have it the way I want it, then it's in the hoop, and then I can just go back and then I'm ready to stitch it out as it is. Now you can also do more lettering. What we did with this sample was just a simple lettering, a simple word. Some machines you are able to combine lettering and designs on the screen itself, and this is what we're going to do now with the little monkey. So let's go back to that same, and we're going to get a new design. So at the top there's a selection folder, and I'm going to select Get New. This one will take away whatever I have on the screen now, and it will put me back where I can select something else. I want to get the little monkey first, so I'm going to select the machine icon. I'm going to select the Designs folder or the Motif folder, and then I'm going to select the Children's folder. And that monkey is down below, so I'm going to use the scroll wheel until I find the monkey. and now I have him. The machine's always, when you bring a design in, it's going to bring it up in the hoop that is closest to the size of your particular design, because that is what we're supposed to do. If I were stitching this monkey by itself, it would stitch better if I used the very small hoop. But I want to add some more words, and I'm going to use the oval hoop, so I'll just select that now. And now I want to add lettering to the top. On this model, I will go back to the selection folder, and here you have to be very careful, so read your manual to make sure. The top one is going to get a whole new design. The next one down, which is the add motif, looks like a blue plus a white one. This is going to add to what is currently on the screen. So I'll select the machine icon. I'm going to go back to the alphabets, and now I'll pick number 4. And I will type in now little. So it's going to be a capital L. The rest of the little I want as a lowercase. So now I type in I, and then a T, another T, L, and E. And when you like what you see, you touch the green check mark to confirm. The lettering will come in on top of the center design because that's the way it's supposed to, but we can just move it up by touching it here. Want to add another one, and we'll add the monkey, so I'll go back to selection folder again, and I'm going to add blue plus the white to add motif, and now I can type in the word monkey. So I will just select another folder. I'll select folder number 5, and I'm going to type in capital M, go to lowercase, then type monkey, the rest of the word, O, N, K, E, and Y, and then confirm. Monkey, I want to be down below the little monkey design. Need to change the size of these, so I'm going to select them. Monkey is already selected right now, so I'll work on it first. So I will touch the eye, and that's going to open up the edit screen, and I'm going to resize this. So I will select the resize icon, and I'll use the stitch width knob to make it whatever size I want to. And here again, you're working visually, so you are getting it to the size that you want to work with. Now if you'll notice, I have reduced some of these pretty smaller, much smaller than what you might think. When you do lettering, it's always a good idea to stitch this out first, because you do manipulate letters sometimes a lot more than you would even a regular design. So always do a test sew. So visually, I like what I see, so I'm going to go back. The 580 and several other models also have letter manipulation. Letter manipulation is kind of neat. Let me zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. If I don't like the way the letters work with each other, if they're too close together, I can change that in the letter manipulation field. I'm going to use the width knob, and if I go to the right, it's going to put a greater amount of space between those letters. If I were to go to the left, it would make those closer together. Now also on this machine, it has the letter manipulation, and on the bottom one, it has the knob, so that if you turn it to the left, you will arc the letters downward. If you turn it to the right, you're going to arc the letters the other way. So now we can position the little monkey right on top of that one. If you want to be a little bit more precise, you can engage your grid, and then we'll be able to tell where the center of the design is, and then we can position the letters even more accurately to get a good idea about how it's going to look like. Now you're ready to send this to stitch this out by touching the icon, and you'll be ready to stitch out your own little monkey. So what we learned in this particular one is that we can add lettering to a design on specific models. We can add multiple lines of lettering on specific models, and we can also on this machine add lettering manipulation, which is the arcing or the spacing of the letters. You can go to a lot of different things with the letter manipulation and do a lot of very, very creative things. So this particular project is online. It's called the Blooming Apron. It was done in the Bernina 830, but you could do a similar type design using the 580, the 780, the 830, or the 880. You may not have the same font, so you might have to use a different font than what is used here, but you can still manipulate the lettering and move it in and out around another design in the machine field. And also sometimes we want to embroider something where we want different sizes of lettering like for monogrammings. We may want that middle initial larger than the ones on two sides. So that again you can do in the machine. So now I'm going to go to the 880 and we're going to work with this. I'm going to select the alphabet folder and then I want to select the anniversary font. The first initial is going to be the M. Now when you resize, you have to resize the whole thing. If I were to type the MR, I would be resizing both of them the same, whether I'm doing the proportional or disproportional. But I want the two different things to be two different sizes, so I have to enter them separately. So I have the M on the screen, and then you see it here. I'll select that and go to the Edit menu here. And now with this machine, I can resize, in addition to doing it proportionately, I can resize this where the height and width are different amounts. So you can resize it the way you want to. we're going to go to about 100 and, let's go to 135, 140. On the real sample that I did, I went much more than this. It was like 175 and 275. But remember, do a test sew. So when I use the length knob, I'm making it just taller or just skinnier. So this is resizing the design or the letter disproportionately in just the height or the width field. This machine also has a nice little feature here where we cannot accidentally lose our design because it has an add feature right at the top of the layers. So when I go back, it's automatically going to add. So now I want to type the rest of, let's do Mrs. So lowercase letters, R, S, and this time I'm going to need a period. There are all sorts of different letters that are built into the machine. They have some that have the little marks above the top. You can also find the numbers, and this is where you'll find the period. So I'm going to select that and then select OK. It brought it in again on the center of the screen. I can just move it over. Love the click and drag features here. And this time, let's just rescale this one proportionately. So I'm going to make it bigger. Oh, we'll stop at about 125. What you see, when you're happy with what you see, then you can stop. The last thing we need to do, though, before we go forward is to touch this bottom layer so that everything is selected, because we want this to stitch out in the center of the hoop. Now we will touch the information icon, and we will touch the Move Motif icon. And this machine has a little button at the top for centering. When you select that, then that's going to put that in the center of the hoop. It's a good idea at this time, whenever you're doing lettering, you need to make sure that you save this pretty often. So just go back and save this design, and then you can manipulate it in many other ways too. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. And we have learned with this one that we can bring in one initial, rescale that height and width, then we can add the R and the S and rescale it proportionately. And we can do that on the 880 machine and some other machines. There are also alphabet design collections which are sometimes confused with fonts. These are actually designs. They're not a font. You're not going to go in and type WELCOME home. What you will do with this one is you will add each design separately. So when we go to the back to the design, and we're going to get a new icon. So I'm going to close this, and this time I do want to go to the selection folder and get a brand new design. This is a collection that you would purchase, and you would save it on your computer, and then you could send it to your USB stick. So I have this design collection in a folder saved on the machine, and when I open that up you will see individual letters. So now you will type or touch the design that you want. So there's a J. It brings in the J by itself. You can move it where you want it. Now we want to add, because we'll go back with the plus sign, and now we're going to find those lowercase letters, and we will type in an O, move it where we want it, and then we'll add again and select the Y, and then move that where we want it. There are many, many, many different fonts that or different design collections that have different alphabets. So take a look at all of them. In the Bernina Design Studio, you're going to find lots and lots and lots of them. The particular one that we just worked with was a collection called Redwork Alphabet. It's number 12442. There are also design collections that I would kind of classify as monogram collections. These are more on the line that you can make them big. Now you can also resize them. The Loop-de-Loop collection is a Bernina exclusive collection. It's number 21015. It's beautiful just with a single letter. But just as we selected the letters earlier, you can bring in each letter, you'll bring in separately, and then you can resize, say, the K and the L to make it look more like a monogram if you want a 3-initial monogram on the screen. You can also combine those monogram features with lettering. So we're going to look at that on the machine too to see how very easy that is. So we'll select the 880 again and go back with the selection folder to get a brand new design. And I'm going to go back to that USB stick because that's where my letter is. And I'll select the L. Now we will need to add here because we want to add the wording to that. So we're going to select the plus, and we want to go back to the machine icon because we want to get the ABC alphabets folder. And I'm going to use number 9 here, which happens to be Alice font. I kind of like that. It's kind of pretty. Now we're typing the rest of the word love, so that's going to be an O, a V, and an E, and then we're going to confirm with the check mark. At this point now we're going to move this around where we want it. We can resize that if we would like to have it a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. We can resize that here also. So that's how easy it is to add lettering to a design collection and a monogram collection. Once you're ready for more, you are going to find that if you use Bernina Embroidery Software 7, you're going to find worlds and worlds and worlds of more opportunities to use lettering and more ways to manipulate the lettering. The little cocktail napkin ornament, you can bring in the monogram onto the screen, and your software is going to automatically put a frame around it that you select, and then as you can add the little ornaments around each corner. You can also create your own gift bags or any other thing, and it's so easy and so much fun to add lettering from the software. Or you can also use lettering that is a design collection, and you can play with that on the screen and get a really good idea of what it's going to look like. There's also monogramming feature in that software, and that is where you can create a monogram with what I would call the true monogramming, where like for instance this one is like in the shape of an oval, or it may be in the shape of a diamond. You get to choose the shape you would like the lettering to be. So customized with lettering is a lot of fun, and so I hope you have fun with your lettering and create lots of special, unique things.